Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to the long-awaited day. Yes, Total War Warhammer 3 is finally upon us. Well, it's upon me, anyway. It'll be upon you all next week, Thursday. For the moment, I guess it's just a good thing that I know how to share. So when I press the new campaign button here in a second, we're going to get a little cinematic sort of updating us on where the plot is at, what the stakes are for this new thing. But before we do that, I just want to make sure I say at the top of this thing here, first of all, thank you very much to Creative Assembly for giving me early access to this game. Secondly, I believe this is not the release build. I think that we were told that there are some bugs that are in this build that have already been squashed for the version that you will have on release day. So keep that in mind. We're pretty close to final, but not totally final here. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, also, these Total War games, they get a little complicated. But even if you have never seen a Total War game before, do not worry, you will not be left behind. I will make sure that you understand what's going on, and by the end of this episode, you will probably have a pretty good idea of how this whole thing works. So now, for real this time, without further ado.
This world has been sundered by a tide of arcane energy. The winds of magic churned into a maelstrom. The Tome of Fate drew me north to find out why. It guided me to a distant fortress steeped in blood. A battle was fought there. Though long over, the spirits still lingered. In the shadow of a broken portal, the trail ended. It was here the tome conversed with the dead. They told of Urson, the bear god of Kislev, lost in darkness. A noble prince ventured to save him, yet he strayed from the path and was corrupted by chaos. Savior became executioner. A single shot, bound in faith forsaken, pierced Urson's heart. And so the bear god roared. The tide that broke the world. Spirits, where lies Urson now? Is he here? In the north.
Beyond the maelstrom, in the realm of chaos, in the forge of souls.
Is he alive?
Wounded and dying, imprisoned in shadow.
What shadow? A demon's?
A master of the dark.
I knew who shackled the bear. Be'lakor. Only a fool would challenge Be'lakor. And yet, the power of a dying god, there is no greater prize. A mere drop of Urson's blood would break my curse, ending my servitude to this accursed book. Free to profit from its secrets. But Urson is locked in the Forge of Souls, deep in the realm of chaos, and I cannot enter this nightmarish domain. All routes have been sealed by the maelstrom. There must be a way. The tome unveils a spell to summon a portal, one to bypass the maelstrom and create a door into chaos. Knowledge to bargain, for I need an ally, one who is tempted by the power of the god bear and can withstand the horrors within.
That's us. I'm pretty sure that's us. We're the ally. So these are the stakes here in Total War Warhammer 3. It seems like maybe a god is dying, and if you play as Kislev, perhaps you can save it, and otherwise, perhaps you can take its power for yourself. There was a little prologue campaign during that lets you play through the story that we were basically just told about the prince going into the north, and it is cool, but it's also gameplay wise very rudimentary. And I thought people watching this series, people watching this game on this channel, they want to get into the meat of the thing right away. So let's do that. We're definitely going to be playing as the Demons of Chaos. I'm very excited about this campaign. So this is about half of the factions in this game, a little more than half of the factions in this game are effectively Demons of Chaos. But while these other 4 factions down here are all the devotees of specific Chaos gods, we are instead going to play as the prince who was tempted to the dark side in the cinematic that we just saw there. Not initially devoted to any chaos god in particular, able to sort of wield all of the powers for the moment, and we'll just see how that goes. Manipulated into a horrifying act by another, the Ungol Prince has given himself up entirely in exchange for the ruinous blessings of all the chaos gods and ascendancy to demonhood. That sounds pretty metal, right?
I cannot be stopped.
So here's us. Iglixis is not a bad demon name, honestly. I think we'll stick with that. It's cool that they let you name him too. So once mortal, the Demon Prince is a great and powerful servant of the ruinous powers. Earning favor through acts of violent glory in battle, the Demon Prince grows and mutates into a being of godlike power, forever bound to the whims of his dark patrons. I mean, we'll see. So we're playing on very hard, because that's what I played on in the previous games. If this turns out to be too difficult, we can turn it down later. The Godslayer is returned back to the mortal plane, forever changed. And now the dark powers circle around him like carrion, each vying for the prize of yoking this demon prince to their servitude. Until then, they offer him gifts and servants of his own, and so he raises an army that serves no single god, a legion of chaos. Yet even as he's courted by the dark powers, there is a greater bounty found in the chaos realms. I do not need to travel far to find the demon prince and make my offer. Already he lays the foundations to a new fortress, from which he will cast a reign of terror. So yeah, we're the good guys in this particular story. Obviously, there's going to be some grossness and stuff. Apologies if that is unpleasant. I'm a big, metal nerd, and I really enjoy the whole demon aesthetic that Warhammer has going on.
A new evil enters the world. A prince of Kislev, reborn a prince of darkness, a champion of the chaos gods.
Kislev will fall. It will kneel before me, before chaos.
You think too small for one so powerful.
Have you forgotten, Seer? I killed Urson.
Why stop at Kislev when you can give chaos the world?
No more twisted words.
Wait! Urson lives!
You lie.
Wounded and dying by your hand, but alive. The shadow has him still.
Bellicor will pay for his betrayal.
The god bears power. It is yours for the taking. So take it.
The realm of chaos cannot be entered. No one can cross the maelstrom.
I can. I will guide you back to the Forge of Souls. All I require is one drop of Urson's blood. Finish the job you started, mighty God Slayer.
God Slayer. World Slayer. Urson's power is mine.
Like I said, good guys. I do think it's interesting that we are just now in Game 3 finally starting to understand what the deal is and what the stakes are for the old guy who has been the advisor of every faction so far.
I have brokered a pact and will guide him to his desire.
All right.
Advise me, as my brother once did. Take me to the Chaos Realms, or suffer his fate.
Prince of Demons, Godslayer, the ruinous powers watch, waiting for you to make your mark on this world. The deeper the scar, the easier it will be to wrest Urson's remnants from Bellicor. First, establish a capital. This will alleviate the attrition from which you currently suffer. Your new fortress is all but complete. Claim and dedicate it to one of the Chaos Gods. Yet do not linger, for trespassers approach. Colonists from Nordland attempt to settle the untamable lands. In a mistaken belief, this will quell invasions from the north. Wipe out the gullible fools at their beachhead, the Bay of Blades. Then make the Scalings pay for failing to protect lands that are the dominion of Chaos Undivided. The other Norscan tribes should be conquered and subsumed into your burgeoning realm. And
dangerously close to just telling me what to do here, man.
Even fatter prey. The Empire is within reach, but beyond that fractured nation, the so-called Motherland. Kislev, the nation which abandoned you, whose god you had no choice but to slay. The leader of Urson's cult, Kostaltin, musters a force to enact revenge against you. Meet them head-on and harvest their miserable lives to power your own vengeance. As you gather your forces, the Tome of Fates ponders a way to return to the Chaos Realms. Your form remains malleable, so use this to your advantage and wield the Legion of Chaos. A prince will become a king, and then a god.
Look at this. This dude sat there and yammered at us for so long that the Nordlanders have managed to make it all the way around to our north side. So the Daemons of Chaos will automatically wage war on any non-Chaos factions they encounter. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. The Demon Prince may earn favor with each of the gods of Chaos. As demonic glory is earned, new demonic gifts will be unlocked, allowing customization of the Demon Prince's appearance. Hey, this is a really neat feature of this faction. And after earning a great amount of demonic glory, the Demon Prince may choose to dedicate themselves as a champion of one of the four gods, or as an undivided champion of all. I think that's where I'd like to end up. I'm very curious how that path works. So yeah, defeat these Nordlanders. Got it. Let's start talking about how this game works, right? So first of all, this is the campaign map. On the campaign map, you can see we have markers for armies. This is our army, represented by us, its lord, Iglixis. And here you can see all of the different units that are in our army. We have slots for 20 units. We currently have 11, and I am not familiar with almost any of these, so we're going to have a look at them once we get into battle. The primary thing that we do with our army markers on the world map is move them into settlements to conquer them, and move them into armies to crush them beneath our heel. So let's go do that now.
Doom is upon them.
Alright, this is a very easy battle, and we could just auto-resolve this and get the quick victory. But let's drop into the battle engine here real quick, just so you can see what this is all about. This is really the beating heart of Total War. Everything else in the game exists more or less to add drama and weight and consequence to the very detailed and complicated battle engine that they have created. So we are going up against Gregor Schwarzhelm with his 2 units of spearmen and some guys with bows and I guess his big floppy hat. And meanwhile, we Iglixis are, the thing we are, and plus we have... These look like mosquito monsters, and that's some kind of horse. I think like a dinosaur, maybe? Let's have a more detailed look at our units before we go starting anything. So first of all, here's Iglixis, flying and terrifying and very buff. I don't know how you maintain that kind of muscle mass. We also have with us some bloodletters of Khorne, servants of the blood god, eager to take skulls for his skull throne, with their great big skull-taken swords. So you can see the stats over here. Not terribly good at surviving, pretty low armor, but decent melee attack, decent weapon strength, and, very importantly, a bonus versus infantry. So when a unit has a bonus against another unit type, it gets that bonus to both its attack and its weapon strength whenever facing that kind of unit. So these guys will mulch up infantry really effectively. We have some Nurglings who are just, kind of cute in a way. Actually pretty whimsical. Also very, very gross. They have poisonous attacks. In Warhammer, in Total War Warhammer, poison is not a damage over time thing. It is a reduction in the combat effectiveness of the unit you hit. So it's a pretty powerful debuff. They also have the Vanguard deployment ability. As you can see here, there's this green rectangle on the ground in which we must deploy most of our units. Anything with Vanguard deployment can be deployed outside of that, closer to the enemy. We'll see if I think that's actually a good idea to do.
Marauders of Slanesh!
Over here we have some Marauders of Slanesh. So they have shields, which will deflect some percentage of arrow fire that hits them from the front. It's pretty powerful stuff. They also have a bonus versus infantry, but a slightly smaller one. Honestly, these just seem like slightly less good units than the Bloodletters. It is worth noting that there are 90 of their bodies in the unit, though, where there are only 75 Bloodletters, so that makes a difference. We have... Wow, okay, this is this is a thing I was not familiar with. The Blue Horrors of Tzeentch. These are ranged units, you can tell, because they have the little orange ammo bar. I'm going to back away from them, because the noise they make is kind of annoying. So yeah, these are ranged units. The little orange bar shows you how much of their ammunition that they have left. Not very tough. Although, okay, they have 20% resistance to all types of physical damage, which is nice. Was that the case with our other units, too? And of course, there's lots of other abilities going on with... We don't have to dig into all of this stuff right away. Over here, we have some pink Horrors of Tzeentch, which seem similar. And these Tzeentchian units have an extra blue health bar that works kind of like shields in pretty much any video game you're familiar with. They get depleted by damage, and then they refill over time if the unit stops getting hit. You know, it's like Halo. It's like Halo, but demons.
Bringers of joyous degradation.
Here we have some Seekers of Slanesh. That's kind of a wild idea. So they're a cavalry unit with crab claws riding what looks to be like some kind of mutant demon seahorse? Or maybe it's an anteater, because it does have... Yeah, that is happening. Okay. Pretty decent melee attack, pretty decent weapon strength. They have the poison. Their attacks are magical, which helps them bypass physical resistance that enemies might have. So that's interesting. And they're pretty high speed as a cavalry unit. We have over here the Plague Drones of Nurgle, which are indeed kind of sort of mosquito troops. Super gross. Nurgle is the plague god and the god of things that are gross, basically. And then finally, we have a unit of Chaos Warhounds, which is the only one of these things that I've ever seen before. This is like a mean dog. It's like a dog that's pointy in more places than a dog is usually pointy. Not a very good unit overall, but listen, they can't all be winners, and they will certainly be sufficient for the task ahead of us. So once we've got all of our units set up in the positions we would like inside of our deployment zone, or, you know, outside of it, as the case may be for the Vanguard, we just hit the button. And I really want to throw Iglixis into the breach here, like basically as quickly as possible. I'm curious to see what he can do. So we're going to take all these fast-moving units. We're going to wing them up the side here. We can probably turn off the detail pane. So they have one unit of archers who we have to watch out for at least a little bit.
Walking God. A place of
Alright, so we're going to turn them so that their back is to our ranged unit, or our fast units here. They're focused on trying to hit Iglixis. So before we join battle, one more thing that we definitely need to talk about is the white bar. Every unit on the battlefield has a white bar below their health bar, which represents their leadership or their morale. It is sometimes the case that a battle will be decided when everyone on one side dies. It's far more common that battle will be decided by who runs away the most. So, when a unit's white bar, their leadership, gets low enough, they will break and flee the battlefield. If all of the units on one team are fleeing at the same time, the other team wins, you know, like a battle or whatever. So we do have to be wary of that. Obviously, being shot at, not great for your morale. Also, having members of the unit die, being cavalry charged, being flanked, being overmatched in melee against a superior opponent. There's lots of ways you can negatively affect someone's leadership, and we are about to bring them all to bear on these poor archers. I don't exactly... These are not, like, super powerful units, so a lot of them I just want them to get kind of, like... I want them to get the idea, I want them to get close, and then we're going to wait until we have proper range. Until we have other people engaged before we engage these things. We are sending our Demon Lord in right away here, though. He's a lot bigger than a dude. I had not realized the degree of that. So the enemies are joining battle. They are sort of picking a direction to face. We will do our level best to hit them in the sides and back. This is going to be a very quick battle. So we have a couple of abilities here. Okay, so for 34 of every 90 seconds, great big weapon damage bonus. Hey, stay focused. And then this is the same thing, just sort of like a low cooldown damage ability. We're not applying a ton of tactics here. This battle doesn't really necessarily warrant tactics. You can see the volleys coming out of our horrors here. And these two units have already thrown up the flag. Actually, they all gave up. They all gave up really quickly. So one thing that is important to note, the flag with the skull next to it. When a unit's leadership has fallen and it's broken and fleeing, there will be a little white flag above its banner. But a unit in that state can recover their leadership if they get left alone for long enough. It is not until a unit is showing a skull next to its flag that it is permanently broken. You know they won't be back for more later. It's an important distinction to manage, because if they run away with just the normal flag, you have to keep an eye on them. They're going to be a problem for you in the near future. So we lost 13. We had 13 bodies fall. It looks like mostly from this cavalry unit. Obviously, like I said, this is going to be a pretty straightforward battle. This is like the one that just makes sure you know how battling works. Everybody gets like a free one of these at the beginning of their campaign. And we got to come to grips with our units here. So, post-battle, we managed to capture 131 of them as they fled. That is to say, yeah, that's the majority of their full army. So, what do we do with the captives? We can offer them to the Chaos Gods, or just offer them to one specific Chaos God. In addition, we got some money, we got some XP for our hero. Lords and heroes have like level up trees and skill points, so we'll see how that stuff happen soon enough. Ordinary military units also gain experience, and they will also level up, but they don't have the system for doing so is not as involved. You'll see a little indicator on the top left of the card when a unit has leveled up, and it just boosts their stats a little bit. I shouldn't say a little bit. It's pretty significant. So, like I said, I kind of want to go Undivided Glory. Let's lean that way for the moment. So, we did it. We have defeated Nordland's army and acquired a little bit of glory for Khorne and Nurgle. Now they want us to capture the settlement in the name of Slaanesh and the Undivided.
Demon Prince.
So the settlement is, the map rather, is dotted with settlements all over the place. So we have to dedicate this to one of the gods. Interesting. To be honest with you, my favorite chaos god has always been Slaanesh. So I think when we have an option like this, we'll lean Slaanesh.
The vanguard in the ruinous crusade.
Okay, we did the thing. Huzzah. So the map is dotted with settlements. Settlements are things of great import. Okay, we'll get on this in a second. So if we zoom out here, you can see a settlement has control of a region on the map. And when we control settlements, we can build buildings inside of them, which will be the sort of the economic core of the empire. Of course, this is where all your money comes from, all of your ability to recruit units. You can see we learn to summon units from building recruitment buildings. And settlements have a lot of little pieces to them that we don't need to worry about for right now. For right now, the most important thing to understand is that each settlement has a core building that can be leveled up over time. You can see leveling this up will cost 2,000 favor and 1 point of surplus population. This is the most important thing in the world to us right now, getting our main settlement leveled up. So we want to make sure we are getting surplus population. The way we do that is by acquiring growth. Right now we have 10 growth per turn. Over time, the growth is going to slowly fill the little bar around this number, and when the bar gets filled up, we get 1 point of surplus population. So growth, very high priority, which means I'm assuming there will be a growth building in here somewhere. Yes, okay. We are going to focus on growth for the moment. We want to get this settlement powerful because all of the other buildings in the settlement have their effectiveness limited by how big the settlement's main building is. You can see we're building this 10 growth building. After our settlement levels up, it becomes a 20 growth building and then a 30 growth building. So critically important to have at least a couple settlements really leveled up as quickly as you can.
Hellish power.
All right, also, our hero got enough XP to level up. Gee, okay. So a character in a lord or a hero in Total War Warhammer is made up of a lot of pieces. You can see these are all of our equipment slots here. And we'll look at those in a second. But we also have our skill trees, or rather our skill lines, it looks like. It's all very straightforward for this faction. Although, gosh, there's a lot of skills here. So we leveled up once, which means we got a skill point, and we can spend this to increase our glory gained by a particular god. And then once we have spent some in this skill, it will unlock all the skills in this box. Yep, available after unlocking Glorious Warfare. And then after spending 4 skill points in that box, we can unlock this. And so that's how we'll progress down the lines here. Now, in my experience, Route Marcher is like the #1 most important skill in the game. Campaign movement range. There's nothing more important than campaign movement range. So we are definitely going to start on this line. Plus, yeah, this is just points in Glorious Warfare are strictly better than points in any of these things. So,
Boom to the great reaping.
oh, we were gonna look at our equipment here. So we have a lot of equipment slots, and it looks like we have some options available in some of them already. So as we continue to curry favor with the gods, they will grant us new forms. So right now our body has 10 melee defense and 10% ward save. Ward save is just reduction to all damage, 10% flat damage reduction, which is pretty cool. We could trade out for this flaming body that has some armor and the same melee defense and the foreboding ignition ability. which can only be used when our hit points are really low, but it's a big explosion that triggers off of us. Honestly, kind of want to stick with the ward save. And legs. So right now we have this ability from our legs, which lets us, for 34 of every 90 seconds, just have a ton of extra weapon damage and a significant charge bonus. We could instead have Sinful Footing, which just makes us really fast. Enabled whenever any enemy is within 100 meters. That's actually pretty cool. And some armor and some move speed. I actually really like the ability for this unit to get around the battlefield fast, especially since it's a powerful flyer. And also, yeah, that's cool. A lot of the Slaanesh aligned stuff is going to have sort of a BDSM aesthetic to it. And that's just the way that's going to be. All right. So, now that we're in a friendly settlement here, we can do a little bit of recruiting.
Serve me.
So you can see we have 2 recruitment pools here. The local Icetooth Mountains recruitment pool, so named for the province that we are currently standing in, will allow us to hire in these units. You can see we can only be hiring 2 units at a time through this pool. So what do we have? We have Marauders of Slaanesh, so those ones with the blade arms and the shields, and Chaos Furies. Fast-moving flying units, like really fast-moving flying units with magical melee attacks. These seem okay. For the moment, I think I just want to build out, like, the melee core of our army. We don't have a lot of stand and fight troops right now. And then you can see we have access to a second global recruitment pool here, where we have the same units, but they are more costly and they take longer to hire. That said, we have a lot of holes in this army, and it's going to take a while for our Seekers to heal up. You can see the yellow portion of the bar here indicates how much they'll heal when we hit end turn. So, actually,
Join the ruinous crusade.
Let's hire in all of the Marauders of Slaanesh we're allowed to through the global pool, and then hire a second turn's worth of units.
Conquest.
We'll get 1 set of Furies here. Hire in a second turn's worth of units through the Icetooth Mountains. So I've spent just about all of our money here, but in 2 turns our army is going to be very large and impressive. Okay, let's talk about provinces real quickly here. So a province is made up of multiple settlements. You can see here the Doom Keep, the Bay of Blades, the Longship Graveyard, and the Ice Drake Fjord all together make up the Icetooth Mountains. This doesn't matter a huge amount, except that if we controlled the whole province, we'll get some bonuses to all of our settlements within the province. So it is worth doing. All right, with that, let's end the first turn, a mere half hour into the video. So you can see here, this is all of the AI factions on the map taking their turns. There's 106 of them, because it's a big game. It's a big game and a lot of things are happening. So we have summoned the host. We have recruited a hero here. Heroes are special units that can run around the map as, like, agents and do things on their own, or they can join armies and function as powerful combat units.
Heights I can take you to.
So you can see here, Viditas, Duchess of Carnality, if embedded in an army, will fight for us and probably is pretty powerful. And then also will grant experience to all of the units in the army every turn. Or we can have her run around and do stuff on the map. She can assault the garrisons inside of enemy settlements. She can attempt to assassinate enemy heroes. Or she can jump enemy armies on the world map and damage a bunch of their units. And these effects can get very powerful once you've sort of leveled up and specialized for them. However, I'm fairly sure we just want her to be a combat unit.
The more we do it.
Plus, we had a quest to do that. So, even more glory. Alright. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Yeah, there's some stuff. We'll get to all of it. There's control and corruption and a button that I don't know what it does. Oh, okay. This is our body part unlocking menu. So you can see the 5 different types of favor here, what we will unlock as we continue to grow in each of them. So some kinds of unit recruitment. And then also Slaanesh corruption +2 in all provinces, and also leadership up when fighting against Cornate factions, because of course there's tons of infighting amongst the Chaos Gods and everything. And it looks like, what is this? Okay, some kinds of heroes are locked behind favor. So we have to care about our favor quite a lot. Although unlocks the seduce units feature for all your armies, huh? Okay, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Well, we'll get to it all when we get to it. So we have one more turn of recruiting going on, and I am cool to just keep that up. As you can see up here, this is the amount of money we currently have. This is our current upkeep. Hiring on lots more units is a really good way to make sure this number is going down. So we're going to be a little bit broke in a second here, but we'll have a great big powerful army. We'll just get money that way. We'll take other people's money. So all of the question marks on the faction wheel at the top of the screen are factions we haven't met yet. We're way up at the top of the map. Most of the map is a mystery to us. At the end of your turn, have an income of at least positive 200. Okay, you judgmental. We will get there. It won't be a problem. So
Chaos.
we have grown, we are mighty, and we want to complete our province for a number of reasons. Let's get out here.
To subjugate.
I think we're going to be able to reach the Bay of Blades. Yeah, we don't need to do anything fancy here. We'll just move right to the edge of our movement range, represented by the lines on the ground. You can see this further line here is the distance we'd be able to move if we were in forced march mode, which gives us extra movement, but at some costs. We can't initiate a battle. While we're in march mode, our units are all tired if we get attacked. And the tiredness or freshness of a unit makes a big difference in its fighting effectiveness, as you might imagine. So we'll just stay in normal mode for the moment. I am sure we will have enough movement to get where we're going. And it seems to be remarkably undefended. Capture and occupy the Bay of Blades. Okay, well, I was just on my way to do that. Khorne will be very excited if we pull this off. Nordlanders occupy the Bay of Blades. Allowing them to exist there weakens the Dark Power's influence in the region. Yeah, I would hate to do that. Also, it'd be cool to reduce unit upkeep expenditure to below 80% of our income instead of, roughly 150% of our income like it is now.
Annihilation.
All right, so for this battle, I think we're going to go ahead and take the auto-resolve. Obviously, we would completely annihilate them. You can see, because this is a settlement, there are slightly different rules for it. If we were to attack this manually, we would see that the defenders get to use these supplies to build up defensive structures to try to hold the settlement from us. In addition, we could just encircle it and try to starve them out, but there's no reason to do that. Like, we just run them the heck over here.
True face of chaos.
And you can see we took 215 losses there. A lot of our units are pretty damaged. Generally speaking, when you auto-resolve, you're going to get a much worse result than you would if you resolved it normally. It's just that there's going to be a lot of battles over the course of this campaign, and we must value our real-world human minutes to some degree, right? So let's go ahead and... for the glory of Slaanesh.
Chaos lives here now.
Okay, so we found a cult treasurer from winning a battle whilst having negative income. Also... okay, we got a couple of different income-related followers there. And we have accomplished our goal. Equip any demonic gift for even more favor. Demon princes differ from other demonic creatures, as they were once mortal. A soul still withers within them. This also allows them, and you, agency over their form. Continue your evolution into a shape that shall please you. Okay, you know what? I would like to do that. Do we have any cool ones?
Chaos.
We got more torsos. We got a spiked collar. So a 3-use explosion ability that doesn't require you to be horribly damaged to use it. It's not very much damage, but Passive ability, okay, just a flat 20% damage resistance as long as you are in melee. Effect intensity increases with each kill made by the unit. Yo, that seems great, actually. And plus 10 melee attack, that's a pretty significant value. Okay, that's a coolish look. For our right arm, we can trade out our muscular arms with their plus 10% weapon damage for a scythed arm, which is just hugely better in every way. Okay, because it's going to take the place of our sword. Well, I mean, obviously we're going to do this thing. Yeah, that rules. I'm very confident about that. New wings. So we trade out 7% move speed for 12 to 24 damage per second on every enemy within 35 meters of us as long as we're in melee. That seems pretty solid and very much in keeping with our sword arm. Or sorry, with our chest piece. And then an armored sentient tail. So we lose 5 melee defense, but gain 10 armor and also damage to people that are near us as long as we're in melee. Oh. I mean, I guess it said sentient tail. Sure, it has a face. Of course it has a face. This is going pretty well already, in my opinion. All right, we did it. Hooray. We're very good at missions. Yes, thank you. I know about the demonic. Thank you. So, how high does this go? Okay, we gain the ability to dedicate at 3,080, which seems like a weird number. All other glory gain will be halted. So what happens if you do this? Huh. And then there's more bar locked behind the dedication where you pick up increased versions of the boons and some like very, very fancy specialized units. And up here you get a lot of weird stuff, it seems like. Is this just all of the units from the other? Yeah, it totally is, right? Plague Drones of Nurgle. Yeah. Okay, I mean, it sure seems like going undivided is the way. If we wanted to play one of the other specific demon factions, we'd be playing one of the other specific demon factions. And we totally will at some point. Okay, take control of the Icetooth Mountains. Already working on it.
I have ascended. Demon Prince.
So we leveled up. What do we want most? There's a growth skill here, so that's almost certainly it. Diplomatic relations with the other Chaos factions is kind of neat. But yeah, so growth +8, parentheses local province, means that the growth bonus only applies to the province our lord is currently in. So this will be less valuable later in the game, but for right now, we're probably going to be spending all of our time in the Icetooth Mountains.
Once more,
so.
This world will
Oh, right. We don't have any movement left because we took a settlement this turn, so I think we're good. In 2 turns, we'll have enough growth to level up the settlement building here. It is going to take 2,000 favor to do so, though. Part of the reason our numbers all of a sudden look so much better is that the Bay of Blades is a port, and ports have this harbor building that is very, very helpful. It sure would be nice if we could go get some other ports, don't you think? So all of these people to the south of us hate us very, very much. The good news is that a lot of them don't care for each other either. So it won't be as simple as like all of them fighting us. They're gonna stumble over each other and get in each other's way a lot. And we're just gonna have to, use that to our maximum advantage. Alright, at the end of your turn, have an income of positive 3,000. Current income, yes. Again, I feel a little judged. I like that Nurgle is the one who rewards you for getting your income up. It's like, he likes growth. He just wants to see a number go up. He doesn't care what number it is. So, we might try to do something sneaky here. Because I don't want Einar Bloody Hand to see us coming and then just run away. So, down here in our stances menu, There is a raiding stance for stealing money from enemies and generally making their lives miserable. There is an encampment stance that lets you recruit units while outside of your own cities. And there is this... Wait, maybe we don't have access to ambush stance. Hold on. If I step outside the city...
Prey, minions.
No, okay, we do. So we have to have at least 25% of our movement remaining to use it.
Nothing.
But we can make our army hidden on the map so enemies react as though it is not there. Fingers crossed, unless they reveal it. So you'll see different spots on the ground in the tooltip here, the third line. Different spots on the ground have different ambush success chance. Generally, you're better off, standing in some trees, off a road. Can we get up here with 17% or with 25% left? No, we cannot. Can I get kind of into the trees over here and make my... No, not really. We could step this far. Yeah, all right. We just need to get a little closer to him. So we're going to stealth up. Because we're still in friendly territory, we're still getting a little bit of healing. Nowhere near as much as if we'd stayed in the settlement. But my hope here is that Einar will not realize that we are present, and so he won't run. Because I sure would love to feast on that tiny, overworked army right there. Also, I don't know what the Nordlanders are doing, sending these tiny little groups of troops up here. Nope, he headed home even though he didn't break our ambush. Just bad luck. Okay, our hero has leveled up due to just random, there's some amount of passive XP gain being in an army at all times. So, what is the deal with you? At level 13, we'll gain some kind of serious buff. Here we have, like, combat stat stuff, so plus armor. Yeah, all pretty standard. And also, she's a caster. That's interesting, because her combat stats are really good. 56 attack, 50 defense. She's very low on armor and pretty light on health. Although she does have this physical resistance. But also, she's a capable wizard. So this is just a small damage spell. I think let's focus on her magic for right now. So we'll spend a skill point here to make this spell reduce the cooldown and learn to overcast it. We'll talk about overcasting next time we're in combat.
For the ruinous powers. Furious momentum.
Once again, we're going to try to approach... Okay, so they have like real defenses here this time.
I'll snap your spine in two.
We're just barely on our side of the line. No, we're just barely over the line, I guess. You can see these units are not replenishing. That's fine. They're pretty close to full. We can't afford to keep doing this dance for very much longer, though. We are bleeding treasury pretty quickly. So we kind of need one of these armies of scalings to get out of the way. Or we could just try to take them both on. That might honestly work. We might be okay. So you can see the number has fallen already to 105. The AI factions will wipe each other out over the early game here. Now, because we just took it over, the Bay of Blades does not have much in the way of defenses erected at the moment. And I certainly don't want to just give it to the Nordlanders for free. So we gotta... Oh, is he gonna fall into the ambush? He absolutely did. Attack now, and the element of surprise will give you the upper hand. We will definitely crush them. I'm gonna take the auto resolve on this. Well, you know what? We should manually resolve it because I should show you what an ambush battle looks like. So we caught them on the march. We'll get to start wherever we want, really, with them in a pretty non-optimal formation. We don't really have the tactical tools to take great advantage of this. We don't have a lot of like archers that we want to be set up in particular spots. But we will just be upon them quickly, and the pain shall be great. And if we take down Felman Ingerson with relatively few losses here, then hopefully we can just run over and grab that settlement. So yeah, you can see they're all spread out because they were marching. So let's line up our marauders just kind of alongside. We're just going to rush them. They have some javelin throwing units here that do not fare so well in melee combat, and then just kind of a bunch of big Norscan dudes with weapons. I want to take my horrors and stuff here, be set up to shoot down their horses as quickly as we can, so we don't have to worry about that element of the fight at all. I'm gonna have some of the Nurglings be on this side. We're gonna collapse on their ranged units from two sides, so that they don't have the ability to just fall back away from us. I think I'm going to put the riders over here as well. So you can see these units that are starting the battle in these dense forests are hidden. The the enemy will not be able to see them initially. We're not going to worry about this right now. Let's just start deployment. This is an indicator of how much spell casting we can do, and it's a little weird to read. So like I said, we'll worry about it later. I'm going to put all of my fast-moving units on this side, actually. And then we have these Furies, who I don't know what I want to do with. I think a lot of the fast-moving and flying units are not going to engage right away. With the exception of Bellicor, who is just going to drop directly on top of all of the enemies here. So yeah, you will charge the cavalry right away. And here's our wizard. Okay, let's try her stuff out. So, start battle and immediately pause. Spellcasting. It's the Lash of Slanesh. We can turn this. How do we want to... how will we make the best use of this? Does it say... It does 100% damage versus armored, so we don't have to worry about hitting the armored enemies. Most of these Northlanders are not going to be armored anyway. We can click it again to do what's called an overcast, which will double the damage, but it will also have a chance of sort of feedback, doing a little feedback into our wizard and sort of cooking her from the inside with the mana. I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna try to hit as many of their units as possible in total here, with the biggest spellcast we have access to, and then yeah, let's just have at them, right? What I want to do more than anything is just get our units involved with their units, so that the flankers can hit them in the flank. I want all of my ranged units focusing on Marauder Cavalry immediately. Okay, let's see how this goes. And we're going to have these Nurglings come out of the woods right away. Alright, let's watch that spell happen. That was actually a lot of damage. As was that. Okay, so the ranged unit's doing some excellent work here.
Paramour of Slanesh.
You can see the morale on these enemies falling very, very quickly.
Seekers of Slanesh.
Nobody likes to be flanked. What is this? Inflicting damage to friendly lords generates... Hold on a second. Inflicting damage to friendly lords generates glory points, which can be used to unlock bonuses. Okay. So as our lord doing damage is filling up this bar. Right now we have the ability to put more magic in the magic meter. You know what? Sure. So I have to cast it on my spellcaster? Or it rather increase the rate at which the magic flows from the top part of the meter to the bottom. That sounds fine. I'm into that. You lot, honestly, maybe you should just chase. The Bloodletters probably should not actually be chasing.
The Maiden of Ecstasy.
So the cooldown on this is already up again. She is unfortunately not actually close enough to cast like that. So you can see we got some enemies in differing stages of surrender.
The pangs of suffering, driven by pain.
Seekers!
Let's finish their lord off real quick. The loss of a commander has a pretty significant effect on morale. So taking out their commander will be a good way to just finish this battle quickly. Melee attack up for all of you.
Death through sensation!
Okay, there we go. That was easy enough. So yeah, cavalry units do not do well under sustained fire from demons, and also these demons having like Halo-style shields makes them resistant to the counterattacks that usually come with pursuing Norscan cavalry, which tend to have, javelins or throwing axes or something. So yeah, pretty easy battle. Lots of good XP on our units there, and we absolutely annihilated him. By the way, given what the battle predictors were saying, this was almost certainly a much better outcome than we would have gotten had we hit the auto resolve. So this will be a huge embarrassment for the Scalings, and it may let us push up the coast a little bit more. I am worried about the Nordlanders hitting the Bay of Blades. The Bay of Blades was strategically definitely the wrong one of these ports to try to take first because it's the one that's most vulnerable to attack. But whatever, we'll deal with it. So 715 favor, bunch of XP for Eglixis, and let's just get some Chaos Undivided favor here. Now, unfortunately, we did that on the wrong side of the line. If I had stayed on my side of the line, we would have gotten to heal at the beginning of our turn after the battle, which would have been pretty handy. It is still probably the case that we can just press over here and crush them. And if we do that successfully, then there's no way they can stop us from getting Ice Drake Fjord. Like, this is over as long as we don't screw it up. We actually got 3 level ups off of that. That's wild. We're gonna... So control, corruption. Let's get some bonus diplomatic relations with the other Chaos factions.
Boom to the great reaping.
Actually, also, yes, I have unlocked some other things. So Sharpened Horns, which give the Call for Power ability. We're gonna lose 10% physical resistance, which is serious, but this is a lot of damage output. And for 30 seconds of every 120 seconds, we have all that damage bonus, plus we are rampaging, which is a bad thing. Rampaging means that the unit will not follow orders, it's just full-on attack whatever is nearby mode. But honestly, it seems pretty good. And then we have also gained trophied legs. Oh, they come in sets. That's interesting. The Doom Sword and the Doom Shield go with the trophied legs. So back to Demonic Onslaught, 5 attack, 5 defense. I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, maybe we do that. As much as I do like the the aesthetic of the other legs. And so the Chaos Sword would replace our fun arm. So what we're getting out of the arm effectively is 7 attack and 50% base weapon damage. Yeah, I think it's definitely correct to hold on to that for the moment at least. So let's move on here. So, generally speaking, with spellcasters, after you put the first point into one of their spells, it unlocks the ability to learn a couple of other spells here, three additional spells, or the ability to gain a passive based on their magical type. In this case, we get Blissful Rapture, 12 attack and +4 leadership to all friendly units on the whole map. You can see their effect range infinite. for 10 seconds every time we cast a spell. That seems pretty good. The lash is only 8 winds of magic, and it has a cooldown of only 30 seconds. Yeah, let's pick up Blissful Rapture, because we could use lash a lot of times during a battle.
Demon Prince.
We can't quite... Well, actually, I don't know. It's not 100% clear to me. Can we hit that?
Ascended.
I think we can hit that. There's no secondary arrow showing the movement you would do on the second turn. I think we can hit this right now. And maybe it's unwise, but we're going to be really aggressive. All right. An auto-resolve would be a valiant defeat, but we're not going to auto-resolve it. We're here to do the thing. So the settlement garrison just has these troops in it. Interesting. There's now time staggering on reinforcement arrivals. That's kind of cool. So about 2 minutes into the battle, all of these others will show up. Let's get in here and show them who is the boss. Then we'll probably call the episode there. Generally, I like to try to keep these things to about an hour, but I'm having a pretty good time here. We have some momentum, so let's see if we can't just close up this this province real quick. Or no, sorry, we have another thing for the province. Well, let's see if we can't just close up this battle real quick. And I believe this is all of the currently living scaling armies, so they're going to have a really hard time recovering from this. Now, we do have to take note, mostly they have the same kinds of units we saw in that last battle, but this right here is a unit of Marauder champions with real armor and proper weapons. So we have to be a little bit more respectful of this one. This is probably something we should send Iglixis to deal with, if we can figure out where they are. So settlement battles are a whole different thing in Total War Warhammer 3. Once again, we're gonna not worry about channel magic here. So you can see settlements are much more involved. They have these supply locations that allow the defender to construct defensive structures or towers or barricades. And as you saw on that last screen, we are coming into a battle where the defender has 1,000 points of supplies. So what we want to do here is quickly get control of the supply points, which might mean that the right thing to do is to set up in kind of a spread out way so that they can't just focus all of their fortifications on where we are. So let's have...
Supreme Demon.
Here, let's gather the flyers. We'll make you a control group. The fast-moving vanguard units can be a control group. The ranged can be a group. Okay. So here's my thinking. We want to put our fast-moving vanguard units over here, as close as they can possibly go to this supply point. And then we're going to put we're going to leave the rest of the army probably over hereabouts somewhere. And my hope is that this will draw off some of the enemy forces. They'll have to put bodies over here to defend. And so we'll be facing a lot less trouble on this side. I'm going to put the flyers down the hill. And we'll approach like this so that if they're able to build towers facing this way, the flyers don't get caught in them. And then the rest of the melee troops are just... We'll see here which of these two sides they defend more heavily, and we'll go toward the weaker one. Oh, right. And my ranged units should probably not be in with the melee. And then the reinforcements are going to come in from over there 2 minutes into the battle. So we'll see what things look like then. So it looks like I don't think I see any defenses here. It might be the case that, okay, yeah, see here they built a barricade. Okay, they set up a tower with a pretty wild area of effect. So this supply point is less guarded and it controls the tower. So that is definitely my, I think, my higher priority. They did put some bodies over here. So yeah, we managed to draw off a couple of units this way. All right, here's what we're going to do. Flyers are coming straight over. They can just fly up the cliff face. The melee... If I had put some people down here, yeah, there is a flanking position. I should have done that. I should have broken off some of our melee for this position. Well, things to keep in mind for later, for next time. I guess just get up here. Definitely going to want the ranged. Hammering away at the Great Weapon Marauders on this side as quickly as possible. And let's get the caster up here. We're going to use these units to push this. See if they react quickly enough to what we're doing. Lash did some damage. I didn't overcast at that time. But maybe I should have.
Lacerate them. The Demon Prince.
Going straight for these ones. I definitely want the Demon Prince to be the one who lands. Oh, see, they're currently constructing another tower there. And that tower is controlled by this supply location. Okay, yeah, so we definitely want to get control of this quickly. Let's see if they will let us sneak past over here. I'm actually really curious. Not had the chance to test the CJI very much. So we're going to try to protect our ranged from getting pressed from the side here, and all of you are moving up.
Divine dance.
Yeah, geez, we can cast this like all the time. So this barricade has like 3,700 health. So what we want to do mostly, well, what we want to do with at least some of these units is just run around it, right? Apologies for the huge amount of pausing that I'm doing and I'm going to do in every battle for the entirety of the campaign. I think it's even more justified here than it used to be, though. It's just like there's a lot going on. All right, I'm gonna use the Seekers. We're gonna body charge these things real fast and hopefully actually stay out of the way for a second. Hopefully the Seekers can punch a hole in them large enough for the other fast units to fit through. Alright, Bellicor has like 100 abilities now. They didn't crack as much as I was hoping.
The pact requires it. Seeking Slaanesh is in
Get control, get control. Okay, so we're about to have our units get flanked here. The good news is we can counter-flank and hit them in the back. The other good news is Lash. Have you heard the good news of the Lash of Slaanesh? I mean, that doesn't... Here, we can have one unit go do that. You lot do this. And the ranged units will just be shooting them in the flank while they're advancing. So, all right, this unit's pretty much broken. Bellicor needs to crush these marauders. And yeah, this supply point is looking pretty much ours, I think. Oh, those are marauders. That's a throwing axe unit. We do actually have to care about that. Do I just do flyers? Like, here, we'll just hurl all of these units at it. They're also hastily constructing a barricade, it looks like. Yeah, do as much damage as you can, as quickly as you can. Just crush these nerds. All right, go, go, go.
eliminate them. this!
Just need one pair of feet to capture the thing here, if it works like these things worked in the last game. Yeah, it looks like we didn't make enough space. But you can see that is turning green. So caught up with the Marauders. They're getting wrecked. Their morale is not doing very well.
Agonizing death. Marauders of Slanish!
Come on. Just break through.
Repositioning.
Okay, they need a little bit of support. Fortunately, we have flying units.
Slay them!
Don't stop fighting. And the enemy reinforcements are present, and our units are already out of ammo or close to it. But it looks like we've completely destroyed one of the enemy melee units. Y'all just try to run. Okay, we're about to cap this. This is the central control point. I don't know that that matters very much. Well, it'll prevent them from having that tower at least, but I'm not sure if capturing this will have any like outsized effect on battle in the way that it used to in the previous game, because everything here works quite differently. We should have our caster get deeper in here. At the very least, she should be fighting, because she's an excellent combatant.
The Demon Prince! Behold my divinity!
Okay, I should not do the explosion, because friendly fire.
The Eternal Hunters! Endless craving!
You just stay there. It's got to get captured.
I am ready.
Okay, they're good and broken. I want to be ensconced nice and deep in here before the enemy reinforcements show up. I don't know what is going on with my units down here, where they keep like losing their orders. I guess these are the cavalry units from the reinforcing armies. They decided to just run all the way up on us. I don't think that was actually smart for them. I think that is an error. And we can probably make them pay. We should turn around and make sure these guys don't get to just do whatever they want. I don't necessarily want to match my fast units against their Marauder Horsemen, because their Marauder Horsemen can ride while throwing stuff, throwing javelins and whatnot, and that probably will just end with our units getting murdered. Okay. Yeah, everybody get indoors. I wanna be able to use the natural choke points here against the reinforcements.
Glorious annihilation! Power of an immortal!
Oh wait, that's not the move speed one. That's right, we unequipped the move speed one. Well, we'll just hit them with a minus move speed hex. How about that? Dude, land and attack. Seems to be having some problems understanding his orders.
Unbridled chaos!
Sandwich him. Okay. So this is capped. We don't need to stand on that anymore. Chaos Fury's in here to help finish this off, since this unit is permanently broken and everything. Okay, all of the enemy foot units look like they're planning to stream through this, which is actually great news for us.
My name!
That is captured.
Eternal Hunters! For honor! Marauders! guided by hunger.
Everybody hurry. They're doing something. I don't know what they're building, but I don't like it.
Finding fresh souls.
Okay, got some breakage here. Enemy's not doing so hot.
Power of an immortal.
Smash. Yeah, geez, look at how a man on horseback doesn't come up to his knees. Get him. Murder. You're supposed to be wanting to murder right now. Okay, that is coming along. Ranged units don't have much left in the way of ammo, unfortunately.
Paramour of Slaanesh. I can't stop. I seek.
She's actually going to be really valuable as they approach.
Point is ours. Excellent.
Okay, got rid of the rest of the enemy towers. So you can see their morale's not doing so hot right now.
Luscious deviants.
So we'll let their lord come in here.
Onward.
She can outrun most ground units, it seems like, so.
Moving. On to pleasure.
What is the range on... Okay, my last unit who has ammunition should be able to open fire on their hero any second now.
Evisceration.
And I'm just going to commit. We're going big.
Dark gift unleashed.
Who can I blame?
Yeah, he seems to be having some trouble.
Eliminate them.
This will be exquisite.
It does look like their lord's going to break and try to flee before we have a chance to kill him.
The aesthetics are lethal.
Endless craving.
Where are my... Here they are.
Cause of Slaanesh! Divine slaughter!
Behold my divinity.
Dance upon their corpses.
Once.
Okay, let's get some of our shield units out here. We probably don't need everybody. But let's get a couple of the healthier shield units to try to advance to there. I was really hoping that capturing the main control point was going to like have a little bit greater of an overall effect here. It didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. It's fine. I would say that we are still in very, very good position here. If I have them do that... Oh, no, that's right. I had them off to this side for a reason. Well, actually, why don't the lot of you fall back over here? So we can get a nice run around there. And then the other flying units... So I don't want to just like land on these guys because we'll get chopped up by the reinforcements. I have to be pretty careful with our flyers. They're powerful, but they're fragile. Can I send them out like over the sea? Oh, the flyers are already over. This is where I apparently left them. They were chasing something over here. You know what? Just go ahead and drop on those dudes. Let's just make sure those horsemen don't come back.
Attack!
Demon Prince! Agonizing
Bellicor got a little distracted.
The fortunate ones! A flurry of talents!
Demon Prince!
Hey, that was a pretty good chop.
Seekers!
Alright, so their lord is down, which is going to affect their morale even further.
Joyous degradation!
Well, one of the lords is down.
Glorious annihilation!
Let's see if we can't get rid of the other one real quick.
Decadence!
I think you lot just have to bail out entirely.
Our master asks! Power of an immortal!
A little bit of friendly fire in there.
The eternal hunters!
You know, it's bound to happen. Okay, their final lord has turned and fled, which has definitely had an effect of the on the morale of the enemies around him. Let's just finish this.
Quench the thirst!
I love this plague of no running away. This is very handy.
Pangs of suffering!
Y'all got a little overextended.
Marauders of Slaanesh!
They got a little overextended. Passive voice, definitely not my fault.
Brutalize them!
Alores! Divine dawn!
Pull our wizard around here because use a little bit of support. Jeez. Yeah, now all we have left running around is like these shattered remnants of the enemy units. At this point, our fast-moving, flying, marauding type units are going to be absolutely terrifying to them. They have very little left in the way of like range to pick us off. I have no idea what this thing is that they're building. I should probably not let them do that.
Restoration!
Don't let them build a thing you don't know what it is.
Bring us souls!
I am ready.
Okay, never mind. They surrendered instead. Looks like some kind of obelisk? I don't know.
Ascended champion of chaos!
Did you explode? Yes, you've used all your explosions. Okay. I figured I would blow up one more time if if we still had the resources for another blow up. So yeah, losses 282. I mean, it seemed like a lot of blood in the moment, but first of all, not really that many dead, and secondly, pretty spread out over our units. So replenishment should deal with it well. I may have lost our demon seahorse antlions. Antlions? Anteaters? Those are different animals. But you know, these are units of Slaanesh. I'm sure we can get some more relatively soon. We'll probably need a recruitment building, which is a whole thing that we haven't even looked at yet. But we're about to have all of these settlement slots open. I'm sure we will be able to build whatever we need. And that is a settlement garrison plus the lords of both of those armies. An awful lot of loot. We are definitely dedicating this to Slaanesh.
Ruinous crusade!
And now we get a turn of in-friendly garrison healing,
Demon Prince!
which is, as you can see, very significant.
Demon Prince!
All right, so we get Route Marcher, and Lightning Strike is 3 levels now. Ah, okay. So at its 3rd level, it allows you to prevent reinforcements from entering a battle at all, which is pretty cool. Interesting. Do I want to devote 3 points to this? This stuff is all just upkeep reduction for units of a particular type. I mean, minus 15% upkeep for Slaanesh units is not a terrible idea, the way our stuff has evolved here. What is in these other So corn gives you bonus money from raiding and sacking. Stats up for the corn units specifically. Reign of Chaos. Additional chance for corn rewards. Okay, those are... Don't know what that is. We will find out. Nurgle gives you minus attrition damage. Casualty replenishment rate. No big surprise there. Slaanesh is recruitment cost down. Hero action chance up. That's okay, I guess. Reinforcement marker move cost reduction down. Enemy reinforcement time prediction accuracy up. Oh, is there inaccuracy in the production in the times there? I didn't even realize. Okay, and then there's even more stuff. Diplomatic relationships up and geez. Ooh, ambush success chance on the Slaanesh line. That's very powerful. And we're kind of leaning pretty Slaanesh-y anyway. I think that makes sense.
Unstoppable.
You could get one of those spooky horses, but we're probably actually going to want to put her in a chariot. It's probably not worth spending a skill point here if we're just going to spend a skill point to get a different horse later, or a different steed. So we can reduce the cost of Lash even further, and reduce the cooldown even further, and reduce the chance for that feedback effect on overcasts. Honestly, we cast it so much, I think that's totally worthwhile. And then what's another good spell to learn? Because we're trying to get deep into this second box quickly, because Arcane Conduit is very good. Oh, they've changed it a little bit. Power recharge rate plus 40%. It's a passive thing now. I wonder if it is still as good. Let's find out. So, Acquiescence slows enemies and makes them worse at defending themselves, and by quite a considerable amount. The Pavane of Slaanesh is a direct damage spell that makes the enemy rampage. And Hysterical Frenzy is a buff spell that makes your unit rampage. You know, honestly, I think this seems pretty good. Especially against Northmen. Like, Norskin units tend to be very fast, so it can be very helpful to have a way of keeping them from getting away. Alright, so we're definitely going to buy this. Got ourselves another harbor here, obviously very good. And
This world will burn.
yeah, I think we're good from there for the moment. So we did lose our horses. I guess we could do some recruiting here. Let me just bring in 2 new units of Slaanesh Guard.
Require further thralls.
It is not impossible that we lose the Bay of Blades this turn. But if it happens, it's not a big deal. We'll get it back. I want to finish off the Scalings first, probably, but then we'll go get it back. So Theoderic Gosser is coming across with a real army. We don't know what it is, but we know it has 17 units in it. Helmut Helborg's force might not be able to take one of these settlements even without any defenses. Just like they might get beaten by the garrison. And we have wood elves coming across the bay as well.
But remember who it is you speak to.
And the Bjornlings would like a non-aggression pact, and they want me to pay them for the courtesy. Well, their strength rank is considerably higher than mine at the moment. So you know what? I think I will do this. I think this is okay. Because they're just on the other side of the Scalings. So knowing that they won't attack us once we get through, or at least that they're less likely to, actually has a lot of value. And actually, while we're doing this, let's have a quick look at some of the new diplomatic features, because there is some new stuff going on here that I think is really cool. So first of all, let's jump over to the Bjornlings, who we just made friends with.
Gather. To be honest, I'd rather be raiding, but you have my time.
When you're making a deal with somebody, you can actually see how they feel about the various terms. You can see like this has a -1 on it. They will accept a deal if this number here is 0 or greater. So a defensive alliance with military access is a 0.2. So this is we agree to come to each other's aid if people declare war on either one of us, the other one will join the war. And this one is we allow our armies to pass each other's territory without getting upset about it, basically. And you can see here, there's even a button here. If the number is off much in either direction, you can, this button. You can press this balance offer button and it will figure out what is the amount of money that gets you as close to zero, positively as close to zero as possible, which is the thing you used to have to dial in by hand and it was very tedious. I think I'm going to offer this. I would like
In agreement.
a defensive alliance with a relatively powerful Norscan faction. That seems very, very useful. So you have a trade agreement with the Greylings. You're at war with Marienburg and Black Venom. Okay. And actually, is this an indicator of intent? Hold on a second. Okay, we don't get it on the...
Marauders.
Oh no, we get it if we have them selected. Yeah, that is super cool. It used to be very difficult to coordinate with the AI because you never had any idea what they were doing. But yeah, so we can give them, we can make requests of them now that we are allied with them. But it's super helpful just to be able to see what they are thinking about doing, honestly. The Greylings like us quite a bit.
To be honest, I'd rather be Raven,
And-
but you have my time.
Yeah, we have a common friend. Do a little bit of northern diplomacy here. I would love some of your money and also a defensive alliance and for us all to be like super chill friends. Is that gonna be cool?
Without doubt.
Okay, and what we know about the Greylings is they are headed to Ice Drake Fjord, which actually could be a problem. We don't want them to get Ice Drake Fjord because we want Ice Drake Fjord. Although there is now a trade settlement button, so you can finally get land off of friendlies without having to like go to war with them and destroy everything. So I don't know that it will be feasible to get them to trade territory with us, but if they took this before we got it, there is at least some method of completing our province. Okay, well I think that was a pretty successful opening. Iglixis' army is in
Fallen champion.
okay shape, is in goodish shape. We could potentially, if we want to sit here for another turn, we could do something to shore up these numbers. But I think we want to just march. But also, I think maybe that's where we ought to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I am so excited to have early access to this. Again, thank you very much to Creative Assembly and Sega for allowing that. When you come back next time, we are hopefully going to complete this province and then set our eyes on the world beyond. I know it seems like a lot of the objectives and stuff are trying to make us turn south, but there's an awful lot of fascinating unexplored land to the east. And we'll see you then.